Hey, a trick up the I might actually be able to afford a new microphone.
Let's see if anyone joins. Blum, 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 blum. Just buy. Dude, I might have started my stream too late. It's going up.
Yeah.
I need to like share the link to this shit. Why the fucking did? At everyone. Send. Is the B general. There we go. Wait for some people to rock on in, rock and roll. S&P 500, brand new, highest priced in history, y'all. What's up, DC Woodworking? What's happening, Rick? It's been a bit. It has been a bit. It's because we've been in this boring range. Let me just like tame the music down a little bit. Yeah, man, there just hasn't been a whole lot to talk about. That's why I've sort of been a little bit AWOL. Bitcoin has been sort of stuck in this range between $90,000 and $110,000. This big fat rectangle. Let me just hide some of these lines. I'll show you what I'm talking about. What's up, Crypto Storm? What's up, Blake? Yeah, man. So yeah, it's just been rectangle after rectangle. This was the SEC rectangle, or the SEC moment right here, where yeah, the ETF approval came in this little sort of zone here. So we had the hype train build up. This really makes the journey look so much smaller when you look back on, like, you know, the FTX crash right here. FTX crash. The sort of basement, the fishbowl that we got stuck in, and then it came up the other side, right? And then you had that brief little rally of optimism, and then the flush out, like, oh no, this was just all bullshit. And then we came down and bounced at, what was that, 19,000 pretty much. And then the bottom was in at that point because it established a higher low. That was very, very nice. And then the middle of that box was $24,000, which was a very significant level. That was like, it was kind of like the line in the sand. We had a lot of resistance at that level, like 2 big times. And then once we got above it, it was like a new paradigm, you know? We pretty much did get back to 32, I think, on that first approach, or 31. Came back and used that 24K as support once, and then twice in a big way. So that was really monumental. That was, the writing was on the wall, because we had that price over here. We had that price set in over here. So it was like to flip it, old resistance. And it wasn't just once, it was 2 big times that we got rejected off that 24K. It was here, and it was here. It caused this huge, like, double top resistant level. And then, yeah, to flip it and then start using it as support was just such a huge signal. And then this is where the whispers of the ETF were coming out, like that the SEC was know, that had all these filings and they were just waiting on their word, and then bam, it happens. Approval. ETF goes live, there's a sell-off, initial shakeout, and then the inflows start, the legitimate Wall Street inflows start, and it gives us a brand new all-time high, all the way up to 74,000, 73, whatever. And then we establish our 7-8 month range that we got stuck in for eternity last year, which took like the presidential election to get out of it, you know? That's pretty much the moment that we broke out, was the 5th of November. And here we are, establishing yet another rectangle. So all the same sentiments, I would suggest, all the same vibes and feelings and sentiments get tested in these rectangles. Like, you know, you travel down to the support, everyone starts to freak out and walk away and get pessimistic, and, you know, and then it bounces, and then people start to believe again. They're like, hell yeah, it's gonna come up, like anticipating the big breakout as you approach the top, yet to be rejected again because of something, right? Like, it's like something comes out, some catalyst, like whether it's interest rates or, you know, bad figures, CPI, something happens and we dump out, and it's just, it's painful. And it happened for 8 months last year. Very painstaking. So yeah, I guess the big question is that how long we're going to be stuck in this one for? Like, if it's a duplicate, like if we just carbon copy that, you know, that's pretty much what I did over here. That takes us out to, if it was to do the same and take the same amount of time, we wouldn't see a breakout or a breakdown until like July. Until then, it'll be like range bound, but I kind of feel like it won't take that long. I think we're going to get an answer sooner than that. Hopeful for March. Like, February's been kind of lame. Nothing much has happened. It's been a very boring month, to be honest. But the reason I turned the stream on was because something like a record happened today, like just a few minutes ago. The S&P 500 made a new all-time high right before market close. It just rockets up in the last like 8 minutes, and you know, it tags, what did it close at? 611.35, 611. The highest price ever for the S&P. Let me go full screen on that. Let's go to like the weekly and just see what journey it's been on. So there's the COVID dip. And it's just been, yeah, doing the S&P 500 style stuff, like grinding on up. It's endless bull run kind of thing. Seemingly, with some pullbacks, corrections along the way. But that's kind of been our trajectory, that yellow line. And as long as we don't, like, you know, start breaking the macro structure. If I go to the daily, you can see the lows, which are like here, here. Arguably, like on a smaller time frame, these are lows to be following as well. But yeah, if the S&P breaks down and we lose 600, and then we start threatening, you know, 575 and get lower than that, then that means, okay, there is like a higher time frame break of structure, and we've lost the trajectory that we're on, like this upward motion. But everything's intact right now. We've just made a new all-time high. I don't know what the post-market is doing. I think it's probably roughly staying where it closed. I'm gonna open that up. So post-market's in the blue. And yeah, it's kind of just barcoding. It's not really doing anything. The pre-market, okay, the pre-market actually holds a higher price than what I'm talking about, the all-time high. Pre-market today got up to like 612 something or other. 612.32 in pre-market. So that's kind of a big deal. But yeah, regular trading hours, even with just the regular hours, like we've got a new high there, so that's cool. Let me just read this comment here. Rick, you remember my pick a few months back called No Sana? Can you make it pump, please? Yeah, I wish I had the powers to do that kind of stuff. Nah, I can't do that for you. But West East Bay says thoughts on Pi coin. I've got Pi. I've transferred it to BitGet, and I'm waiting for the trading to open. And that's where we're at with it. I think I'm gonna have a look at when that starts. I'm mentally preparing for it to just be worth 2 cents or something like that, which means I would be lucky to pull $20 out of it for my years of clicking a button, mining it. Be very frustrating, but it's a possibility. It could just be worthless. It could just get dumped into oblivion, you know. But if I open up, where's BitGet? Here we go. Spot account. I've got nothing on BitGet apart from my Pi that I sent across. 500 Pi. Yeah, we'll have to. If I open up a chart for it, I think if you say trade on here from the wallet, it just says opening soon. 1 day, 10 hours, 41 minutes away. So we'll see what happens. I think even if I try to set a sell, if I hit sell and go limit, let's say price, now this is probably not going to happen, but if I go price $320, quantity, all of it, if I just dump it all, I get $160,000 profit. Now the IOU, the Pi IOU coin got to, I think it's had an all-time high of like 300 and something thousand, 330. So if Pi coin gets there and I can sell all of it there, I'll make 160K, but I doubt it.
Imagine that he's been buying it somewhere. I don't know where.
Yeah, there's a lot of like over-the-counter type, like, you know, behind the scenes buying and selling of it that is going on, like, you know. But if I hit the sell button here, this is a limit order to sell it at $320. It just says, if I hit confirm, it says the current trading pair is opening soon. Please refer to the official announcement for the opening time. It gives a little warning at the top, so I can't even put an order in yet. I guess that's like helping them have a clear book on release. Like once it goes live on BitGet, the book is just gonna have to build organically, like it's sort of first in best dress. So there's no sort of like pre-activity going on. There's no order book yet. Nothing's on there, which is good. It's an even playing field for everybody. But we all have a countdown timer, which helps. So I'll have to set an alarm for like 1 day and 9.5 hours from now, or something like that. MSJS says Trump is speaking. What's up, Jeremy? I got a whopping 15 people in the stream. That's pretty good. In the middle of a bull market.
I was gonna say, hey, that's pretty good for a bear market.
Yeah, don't say the B word. Don't say the bull word when alts are down as low as they are. Well, which one's the? So total 3. That's like pretty much the altcoins because it's like excludes Bitcoin and Ethereum. Go on the daily. Yeah, damn, it's getting hammered.
I like to look at others.
Yeah. Others.
Others market cap.
Others.d. Others dominance.
No, it's
Oh,
others.
just others.
Others is the market cap. You can look at others dominance, but others that's just like the dominance. The others market cap is the market cap of all coins. Like it excludes the top 10 and the stable coins.
It looks so similar to Total 3. Others. Oh, it's a little slumped, actually. Yeah, others is, yeah, damn. It got so exciting. Like, where was the peak of it? The peak of the excitement? December of last year. Q4. I don't know what date exactly. The 7th of December was like the peak of the others. And then ever since then, it's just been bombing out. It lost this trend line here, sadly. And now it's just been like, everything's been on huge discount. So it's like, shit, okay, do we reaccumulate? And look, there's another trend line similar to that over here. Like that one there. So it's like, do we have to go reconnect with that? Because we've done it once already. That was the liquidation event on the 3rd of February. And now it's like, do we go revisit that, find support on it, and then bounce? Or are we just going back into the depths of accumulation? You know, like, is it getting real lame? Like down here's the pits, man. Down there. Really good for buying though. if you feel like you missed out on this cycle for alts, if we go down there, it's like, well, you can start what you should have started back in 2022, 2023. So that's the cool thing about alts, is it's on a different kind of chapter. It's a different book to the majors of like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. XRP, by the way, let's just do a bit of market cap analysis. XRP is still maintaining ground against Tether, which is good. Tether's at 141 billion. XRP's at 144 billion. Ethereum's still 316, God knows how. It's done pretty crap this year so far, and this bull market has been pretty limp, to say the least. Look at that, the only coin in the top 10 that has got some real juicy results this year for year to date is XRP. So it's like, okay, I sort of backed the correct horse. The last 60 days, up 10%. Even just the last week, it's the only one that's kind of green. Ethereum's up 1.3% in the last 7 days, but its longer term picture is just very red, sadly, for Ethereum. But that doesn't mean that it's dead forever. It just means it just hasn't had its moment yet. So I still think there's room for it to come up. This year has been a bit of a trick. Like everyone sort of was riding on the promise of like, oh, once inauguration comes, everything's just gonna start happening. You know, all of the legislation, all of the crypto stuff in government is just gonna start going through, and everything's gonna pump to the sky. And I was kind of like in that same boat. I was like, I hope it happens, but it's kind of just been a nothing burger. The alts have sort of bled out. Even Dogecoin, like with the word Doge being thrown around in the media so much, you would think, like, with a 2021 mindset, you would think that would mean that Doge would be rocketing off the back of that. But nah, it's exactly the opposite. It's like we did an SNL rally up until, you know, this is where the others peaked out, around 7th, 8th of December, right where Doge found that high. And then ever since then, man, and even the inauguration pump, it met a high before the day, like before the date. It was the 18th. Inauguration was on the 20th, but Doge made a high on the 18th, and it was a big fat lower high from the December one, which is kind of frustrating for the Doge army, you know? And we're nowhere near the all-time high. Like, it's just slumped like all the way back down, almost threatening to come down into the accumulation zone again. But something I would be tracking with it would be like this. It's kind of like in a falling wedge almost. It's a bit rough on the bottom side here, like it's not as clean. And these, yes, these are just wicks, I know, but even if you drag it up to the bodies, the candle bodies, it still has the same angle. So if you split the difference and just put it in the middle, the top side, you might argue it's like a parallel, but it's been really selling off lately, and more of the price action has been, you know, on that kind of an angle, that kind of a trajectory down. So yeah, it does look kind of, it's definitely some kind of falling structure. It's not rising, that's for sure. It's definitely a falling structure on Dogecoin on the high time frame. This is the kind of, this is very, when you see these ones, this is very monumental. That kind of falling wedge is a beauty. Like, that's a bounce off the flipper, bull market, bam, you know. So some might argue that Doge has had its bull market, and this is the back end of it now. It's just a bleed out from here until the next bear. But I don't know. Altcoins are weird. Altcoins aren't as cyclical minded. Like, you know, some people say Doge does follow cycles, but it's not as clean as Bitcoin. Like Bitcoin on the macro picture there's a lot more like, you can count on these elements happening. Like, you've got the halving, you've got the timings from the halving, because it's like a measure point in time. You can go back and, like, you know, take measures. But something that I was looking at the other day was like oscillators and how they've been impacted, like how they've been going with on like the macro charts. So on the monthly, you know, there's the bear market 2022. Stochastic RSI on the monthly bottomed out. RSI, standard RSI, found a low, and it's just been building ever since then. You had a really nice MACD crossover. That's when we tagged 32,000 for the first time, coming out, like recovering back out. Everything was set up so beautifully back then. Like, it was on such a high time frame as the monthly chart. Getting signals like that is so powerful. If you go back to the weekly now, you can see there's a MACD crossover after it being really hot on the weekly for Bitcoin, which is very scary to see that. It kind of looks like how it did back over here, right? The MACD cross. Big, you know, high time frame selling signal, which came in when we hit 65,000 for the first time. So yeah, I can see the scenario where, yeah, Bitcoin does fall out of this rectangle and go and test 70, you know, 72, 74K. And that doesn't necessarily kill the cycle either. Like, that could just be like a, you know, just like what happened here. Like, it did this big bounce down, recheck of an old support before rallying up again and making a new all-time high. Could that happen again? Yeah, I think it definitely could. It could definitely come down 74K, bounce, rocket back up, and then get a technical new all-time high, maybe 120k before, you know, it's kind of like Bitcoin's just hanging around waiting for a reason to crash. I understand that kind of angle on it, but that's like my bearish angle on crypto and Bitcoin at the moment. But I'm still bullish longer, like for the rest of this year at least. I still think that there's a lot of potential for higher prices based off like the cycle, you know, the cycle. Let me show you that. Where's my horizontal lines? This is interesting too, the difference when you're switching between linear and logarithmic. So this is a linear perspective. That's 1,000, that's 10,000, that's 100,000. So add a zero, you know? So it looks like 1,000 and 10,000 are so close together, then all of a sudden you have to like go all this distance just to get 100k. As soon as you switch it to logarithmic, everything gets evenly spaced. See? Isn't that interesting? It's cool. I mean, that's how log works. It's like every zero that you add gets represented evenly in distance on the chart. In a linear thing though, it's way different. It's like, it's very hard to explain in words, but visually you see what's going on. Anyway, back to the point. So with the halvings, you can see Bitcoin has found like a rhythm. It's got, you know, bull market top, bull market top, bull top, bull top, whether you call it this one or that one. And then it's like you kind of, you measure out the time between the 2 points. See, these two are very similar. And I can see, like, if I duplicate this one, how, like, what time does that go off? September of this year. And that's if we get the same length in distance. This one's even longer. Oh, not by much though. It's like October. Yeah, September, October is what, if we echo the kind of length, bull market length of the past. Now this one was faster though, I think. This one was very, very much quicker. So we've already gone beyond that in time. Like that would have meant we found a top in April of last year. That's how fast that cycle was. And then I know some people argue that that's because that wasn't the top of the market, even though there was a 90% sell-off. Now this is what Benjamin Cohen was lining out in a recent video, but he was talking about like, oh, if that was a bull market top, that was just a very short cycle, and it's like it doesn't really represent the flow that we're now in, like the rhythm. And the first cycle was actually the longest. You know, it took from there to there, which would, if you bring that across, not in price but in timing, yeah, it lines up more with the distance of the cycles that we've had more recently, right? So let me get vertical lines. It might help describe it better, or like illustrate it a lot better. What's up, Brandy Bryant from Seattle? We got that line. I'm gonna make these lines yellow just so we can really see them. So it's there to there is technically the first bull run. There to there's the second one, or cycle, I'll say. Cycle peak to cycle peak. To there. See how these are all roughly similar timings? If you get the equal gaps, it takes you to, yeah, like roughly October of this year. If we're to line up tops. So top, 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 and then wherever the top will be another thing that I was doing yesterday was looking at like the Bitcoin logarithmic arc that seems to be going on. See how it's like a big arc, and there's like a curve situation like that. So less so the bottom side, but more so the top side. Let me hide these lines as well. So the behavior that we've been getting is like a big plateau. Instead of us making these really, way bigger bull market tops, we're just getting a diminishing kind of price or performance, not price, but performance. I mean, the price differentials are astronomical. Like if you go back to linear, you can see how it's been accelerating in price, but decelerating in performance. And that's just the nature of numbers, right? Like the higher you go, the less it's going to perform from a percentage point of view. But so even though it's the end of the world, terrible misery, if Bitcoin was to crash and go back to like sub $10,000, this is a hypothetical. This is by no means what I think, but if it did that would reignite the volatility in Bitcoin, because it doesn't have that same volatility that it had in the past. But in the past, it moved like an altcoin. Like there was so much more movement and performance out of it, and now you need leverage just to get that same level of performance back. You need to like bump up the leverage to increase the performance, right? But yeah, just an interesting sort of thought. What else is going on? We know Dogecoin's looking sluggish, but that's what you want if you're looking for like the next big play and the way into the market. This is what you want. You want a crash, you want a disaster, you want blood, right? You don't want this for getting in. You don't want the train to have left the station. That's not good. Like, yeah, you might catch the last final stops of the journey, but you want a starting point. Like you want to start at the actual the start line, not the finish line. So this is good if you haven't got a big position, or you're wanting more time to build into something. At least the alts are doing this. That's at least the silver lining out of all of this. And the tops, so namely like Bitcoin and XRP at the moment, they're holding ground and they're actually doing quite well this cycle still. So a lot of the value that they've marked up to has been defended. We've defended those levels. Like, for the longest time, XRP hasn't been above $1, let alone $2. And here we are at $2.50, There was that liquidation event that went down to like $1.70, but it's really doing well. Like if I go on that eight panel view, comparing all the big ones, let's just use this frame. If I go to the 8 panel view and I go to like the weekly, I think it is. Wait, no, that's the meme coins. Yeah, here we go. Here's the blue chips. So the weekly view on the blue chips, I'll hide all the drawings so you can see it. But you can see from this view, it's only really Bitcoin, XRP that haven't just given back all of the gain from late last year into this year. Dogecoin, a lot of it's been given back. Ethereum rewound all the way back to September of last year, August. July, August, September, that low that Ethereum had has been revisited. Like, that's horrible. Really good for buying it though. Like, if you think Ethereum's got, room to move into the rest of this year, then what a fantastic opportunity. But as far as maintaining what we've achieved so far, it's Bitcoin and XRP out of these 8. XLM still rides sentiment of XRP when XRP tends to move, but it's kind of, it is like following kind of like Dogecoin. It looks, just looking at this view, it looks a lot like Dogecoin actually. Had this really big, fantastic, you know, face melting run within the space of a couple of weeks up to a really nice high, and it's sort of just gone into like a sobering hangover, you know. Same with Link. I really like Link fundamentally as a crypto, and it's the same kind of story. Solana has been kind of frustrating too, although it's still got, you know, high time frame structure. It's still got, you know, it's working on like a higher low, higher high thing. It's meeting up with a big important trend line at the moment. Go full screen on Solana. I'll show you. I'm just going to use these lines. Did someone say something just then? I think someone chimed in. But yeah, this kind of line here, we'll see if it gets maintained or whether we lose it and we get thrown back down. I think what has been really rough for Solana's reputation lately is pump.fun and all of that garbage, like out of that website, like all the crazy rug pulls that go on within pump.fun on the Solana chain, right? It just, yeah, it's like the ugly side of crypto. It's all the scammers coming out to rug pull on, you know, retail. And that's been rough. I mean, even the president and the first lady got in on the action. I don't know if they were maybe they were pump.fun. I don't know where they launched those, but yeah, it was a pretty nasty sell-off. Someone made a hell of a lot of money off those, but and the ones that sort of were able to get out early, like, you know, at the peaks. And then, yeah, what a rough ride. Not making any accusations, but yeah. Memes are memes. You find safety in Bitcoin and like the higher cap stuff. And very surprisingly, XRP, there's been safety within that. Like if you're holding a position in that, it's been kind of safe, a safe bet at the moment. But yeah, like I was kind of hopeful that February would give us something more, but I think February being as sort of, you know, nothing burger as it's been, it's kind of a testament to how hot we've run up on Bitcoin. Like we've spent, like November of last year was incredible. Even like January was pretty cool, coming off the back of like a pretty scary December because we had that inverted hammer at the top, like the gravestone doji, right? But yeah, February has just been a big cool off, and we're sort of just range bound again on Bitcoin. So that's where we're at. You can see why I haven't really streamed much. It's because we haven't really done much with Bitcoin. It's just been, you know, we're just waiting for the next big thing, the breakout or the breakdown. One thing, like one sort of way to, if you're just trading Bitcoin, would be to, and was the case last year, is have the range established, like know where the value is and know where the markups tend to top out. So we've kind of got that. We've got where the value is and where, you know, price is going. Anything, if you can get a sell at 100 or anything above 100, that's, you know, it's marked up. It's the most expensive Bitcoin's ever been before. So like, you know, buying the bottom of the range and selling the top has been pretty cool. So that may be the the way for the rest of, you know, the first quarter or something, you know. I don't know. This is all just, we can only speculate as to, we don't know what's around the corner. You know, the tariff stuff, we didn't know that was going to be a narrative. No one was saying that late last year. No one was really pushing that, but that has been a factor. And the Fed, you know, the Fed days have been very brutal, and a pattern that I've noticed as well has been Monday mornings, Sunday afternoons, Monday mornings, big nasty corrections. Let me see if I can pick out all the Mondays. I think I'll need an arrow for that. Something like this. Let's just neutralize the color, and then where's Monday? Monday, right there. Where's the next one? Now, it's not always the case, but there's been a lot of bad Mondays. Just wanted to, and it's more so recently, not like the whole thing, but gotta find the ones that I'm talking about. They will present themselves in a minute. So it's not any of these. It's like early week, Monday, Tuesday. Here's one. So a big liquidation type thing happens. Monday. It was a Monday, inauguration was Monday. So all of the ones that I'm referring to come after inauguration. It was like, yeah, this one. Yeah, that one there. And then the other one was like a Friday actually. But the Monday sucked. Still. And that's where it was there, Monday. You can see these really nasty wick bottoms happen on a Monday. Where's the next one? Sunday, Monday. That was kind of meh, nothing really happened. And then we've got Monday was tricky this time because of the public holiday yesterday, the President Day or whatever it was. But yeah, look, it was mainly that one and that one and that one. These three are the Mondays that I'm talking about. Monday morning, huge sell-off, creating like a markdown. And now we're still sort of marking down, or we have in the past couple of 48 hours, you know. What I could have done, something better and clearer, would have been to open up the weekend indicator. Got it in my favorites, I think. I think it's just called weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. And you can see as soon as the weekend ends, you get these flush outs. And it's quite evident on the S&P 500 as well. I'll have to go down to like the hourly chart to show it. But look, these were like Monday opens, these gap downs. See, look, Saturday, then Tuesday. It's weird because I'm on a different time zone. Let me just change it to like New York. There it is. But yeah, that's a Friday afternoon, Monday morning, gap down. Friday afternoon, Monday morning, gap down. Where's the Friday? Friday, Monday. That was actually a gap up. Ooh, something different. This one happened after. This is weird. It's actually a Tuesday afternoon that there was that gap down. But I think this one here, this nasty drop, was one of the FOMC meetings that was really nasty. Jerome was being real hawkish, and that idiot asked him about Bitcoin. He's like, "Oh, you think you're gonna start adding Bitcoin to your balance sheet or whatever the hell they call it, the asset portfolio thing?" And he's like, "No, we're not allowed to. It's against the rules or something." that was annoying to hear that. Anyway, and then this one was the DeepSeek AI, I think. Late January, early February, yeah. And then I think this was the tariff dump, like the week after. You had all of this shit, like all this correction here. And then here we are, new all-time highs. Didn't take long. So the stock market's been doing absolutely fine. All of the drivers, all of the sentiment shifting news has been ridden out, and it's the worst it could do was off, the DeepSeek AI dump that happened. Nvidia got hammered. People freaked out and dumped the crap out of it. But yeah, new all-time high. Hell yeah. So the big question is Bitcoin going to catch up off the back of that? I'm going to open my 3 panel. It kind of looked like maybe I jinxed it by streaming, but like Kwai was saying, moved up, found resistance. Wait, where's Bitcoin? That's 2x up each up. There we go. So that's where we're at. Didn't really have a plan too much for this stream. I thought I'd just jump on and talk about mostly the S&P 500, the stock market being really healthy and going into all-time highs. If that's supposed to be a headwind for crypto, then we shouldn't be too fearful. I don't think this is. There's no macroeconomic driver that says that Bitcoin has to bear market next week. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting at. Calendar-wise, one last thing I'll do before I wrap it up. If I go onto the Forex calendar, Forex Factory this month. So we're getting a bit stale in February. We're like the 19th now, and it is a short month. It's the 28th is the last day. So there's a President Trump speaks event going on at the moment. FOMC meeting minutes is like the next big thing to come out. And then what do we got for the rest of the month? Nothing really too big. Unemployment claims, consumer confidence, PCE, preliminary GDP. Yeah, advance is the big one. There's advanced, preliminary, then final. So preliminary sort of corrects or compensates and corrects the advanced GDP score as they get more information to come through. But then final is like that's the final figure that we get, and that's what gets recorded. But yeah, GDP, there's nothing really to worry about at the moment. I think all the readings have been positive, which means America is producing and making money, which is what you want. Here was 2 negative quarters. That was the technical recession that they didn't want to label a recession in 2022. Basically the bear market, this is a reflection of the bear market, right? Two negative quarters. It was a recession, technically. Like, for all, in the old definition of 2 negative quarters of growth, we were definitely in a recession. And we were able to escape it, and ever since then, every quarter reading after that has been positive, which is good. A 5.2, that's amazing. Like, that's November of 2023 that came out. So that's probably like a Q2 report, second quarter report. And then the third third quarter, or was it a Q3 report? Yeah, Q3, sorry. Because the fourth quarter gets reported in the new year, in like, that would have been Q4 of 2023, 3.2%. And then you've got first quarter of last year, 1.3, second quarter, 3%, third quarter, 2.8, and then if we go back to, we do have an advanced report this previous month. Last month, okay. Last month, the figure came out. It happens late in the month. Advanced GDP. There it is, 2.3% was Q4 of last year. So now we're waiting for those figures to get finalized, but that's all positive growth. That's what you want. So there's no threat of a recession at this point. We just came out of one in 2022, and they don't happen that frequently. Like that's you don't expect them every second year or every third year. They happen like maybe every decade. Like if you think of the GFC, that was a really nasty one. And then you had, a few years rolled on. There was a few quarters of bad growth. I don't know about recession, but there was some. I'd have to analyze it and go back, but I'm not going to deep dive it too much right now. But then there was, the COVID thing happened, and then we basically paid for it economically with a recession in 2022. That's what caused it, I would say. It was like the reaction to the hyper, and not hyper, but the runaway inflation that went to 9%. Anyway, I'm rambling now. This whole stream's kind of in a ramble, but it's cool to dust off the streaming app and have a go again. But yeah, I'm looking forward to there being like more exciting things to talk about and follow and watch, because it kind of hasn't really been the case lately. It's been kind of boring. The S&P 500's been the most exciting thing today so far. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.